everyone, welcome to another gift guide. So today I want to talk to you about some really great picks, in my opinion, for presents or gifts for your loved ones or to put on your wish list if you are, or if the person you're gifting it to is a watercolor fan. Now, I want to make this absolutely obvious, absolutely clear. These are not necessarily the supplies that I would recommend as like a beginner must-have or something like this. These are just great supplies. I have most of them or tried similar things from that brand. It's just items that I think that besides the good quality, they have that extra either, you know, packaging or just the look of them or craftsmanship that make them more present worthy, in my own opinion. So that's just to make it clear. If you're asking me, you know, if I want like a beginner watercolor set, this video is not about that. I will do a separate video for my favorite products, my favorite sets, what I recommend for a beginner. But today I really want to talk about those things that I think would just be beautiful gifts. So just to make that clear, I'm going to start with watercolors. This will be focused on watercolors. I will have a separate video for more art journaling, mixed media, gift guide. And then if you want to check out my books gift guide, I always think books are the best gift, seriously. You can check that video also. It's already up on my channel and the other ones will be up in the next weeks. So I want to start, I have here my little cheat sheet so I don't forget what I want to talk about. So let's start with watercolors. Now, the few sets that kind of caught my eye that I think would look really beautiful as gifts are, I'll start with the Paul Rubens one. I have reviews on both of the sets, the big ones that they offer, which are 24 half pans in a tin. And the reason I like these is so they have several sets. The ones I'm referring to, of course, it depends on your budget. I'm sure the smaller sets, you know, the quality is the same, it's just less colors, but they will also be a beautiful gift. What I like about the Paul Rubens paints are, I think the packaging is ideal for a gift and the quality is good for the price. So I think any kind of crafter or beginner watercolorist in your world would really appreciate it. I would say, you know, they have the regular set and then there's the shimmery set. So I guess you'll have to know which, like what kind of person you're gifting it to, whether they are more into the sparkly side of life or more the traditional watercolors. Both sets are beautiful. You can see the colors in my videos, but I think it's good value for the price. I really enjoyed painting with both of them and it's a really pretty set. So starting with that, the Paul Rubens one. Moving on, the Core sets. So Core are the watercolor line from Golden. You might be familiar with Golden. They're a huge company. I think they're most known for their acrylics, which are fantastic. Unfortunately, a bit harder to get in Europe, but online it's kind of easy to find most things these days. What I like about their sets, they have really pretty and rather affordable sets. Their separate tubes are quite expensive and I have yet to purchase any single tube outside the sets. The Core paints come in this really cool tin. Again, that adds to what makes it a nice gift feature in my mind. It looks very pretty, very edgy, very modern, and they have several different sets. I would say if you're giving it to a beginner, then maybe check out the 12 set, which has plenty of color to last whoever you're gifting it a nice long time. I personally, my favorite of their sets is the high chroma one. I have that one and the earth tones. I think the high chroma one has fantastic colors. It has 6 tubes. They're tiny tubes, just be aware. Watercolor comes in very small tubes. So beautiful colors, and the nice thing about Core, they have a new formula that their watercolors have a special binder that other watercolors don't have, and most of their colors have a really nice flow to them, especially when you mix them with other colors. They kind of push those aside. So if you have a person in your life that already is into watercolors, this might be a really fun present for them, because they can kind of play and mix the new colors with their old ones. Next, I want to mention the Sennelier. Sennelier, they were my first artist grade palette that I bought. I bought their 24 half pan set, which I think is fantastic, but is really high up there in the price. I think I got it for almost like 100 euros. It took me months until I finally bit the bullet and said, okay, I will get artist grade paints. Since then, I have found sets that are much more affordable with comparable quality. But Sennelier, you know, they're French. They have that je ne sais quoi, pardon my French. I know I butchered that. There's something about them. And the paint has honey in it, which makes it very juicy, very easy to re-wet. It does dry kind of a little bit tacky, but not as sticky as like M. Graham, for example. And I think they're beautiful. And the set that really caught my eye is the Billy Showel, hope I'm not butchering her name, botanical set. I will put a picture here, you can see. It's just a beautiful set of tube paints with the most gorgeous colors. It's a botanical set, but funnily it doesn't have any greens in it, which I absolutely love, because you can buy also the book written by her. I'm not into botanical painting, but if you think that that would be interesting to the person you're gifting this to, then you can make like a combo of those two. And I guess what she wants is for people to mix their own greens. So there's a selection of yellows, pinks, and blues and purples. And to me, it's like, yes, perfection. So I think that set looks really, really pretty. And I think any art supplies lover and watercolorist will really appreciate this present. Next, we're moving on to Schminke. Now, Schminke is a German brand, and if you want high quality consistency, then you can count on the Germans to come through with that. I think the Schminke half pans in particular, the tube paint is wonderful as well, but something about the half pans, or pans, of course, full pans, it's the same formula. It's just glorious. The way that they re-wet, the texture, the intensity, I love them. So with a Schminke set, Schminke, the sets are pricey, but the ones that I chose here, I think are, the two smaller ones are for someone in your world that appreciates craftsmanship, because besides the beautiful paint, the packaging here, or the palette that they come in, has that really beautiful craftsmanship. So if you have someone in your world that is kind of more on the, I don't know, I would say collector, meticulous kind of person that appreciates the quality things, I would say that would be a great present. Now they have the travel set, which just comes in this really cool metal packaging. It fits 8 half pans. So maybe for the artist on the go in your world, or someone that you suspect might collect these and save them, I can only imagine that these will be worth a nice amount of money if kept intact and pristine. It's not what I'm into. I want to use everything I have, but if you think that's something that would be interesting to someone in your world, you can't go wrong with these sets. So that's the travel one. I think that's kind of a permanent item on their collection. The other one I think is a special edition. When I'm filming this, everything I mentioned here is in stock in Jackson's Art Supplies, where I buy my stuff in the UK. They ship worldwide, but I don't know, things might sold out. So the other one is a porcelain set that has 12 colors, if I'm not mistaken. And this was part of their special release. They had their 125th anniversary, I think, last year. if I'm not mistaken. So they brought out all kinds of specialty items, and that set, it's like a metal tin with a porcelain palette. I really wanted to buy this, but I have so many Schminke colors that I kind of held myself, and also I can imagine that it's a heavy palette. Again, I think it's a beautiful collector's item. The colors are, the quality is unparalleled. I mean, it is, okay, it is parallel, but it's right at the top there with the top brands. Yeah, it's good. And the last item from Schminke that I want to mention is kind of OTT, like over the top. But I think if you have, first of all, if you have the budget, this set is expensive. I think, you know, if you find it on a good sale, it'll probably cost you like around 250 euros. I know that's like a lot of money, but I'm talking about the 48 half pans set. So you get a ton of paint. I don't have this set. I kind of, you know, collected my Schminke colors slowly. But if you have, first of all, if you have the budget, and if you have an artist in your life that has like a milestone event, I would say, and I know this is like a holiday gift guide, but I think it's also just like a gift guide. So I don't know, an artist with a round birthday, or you have an artistic child, or yeah, child, teenager that is, I don't know, finishing high school or something, you know, some milestone in their life, and they are artists either within or already. This set is glorious. It has everything. It's just any art supplies fan, any artist would drool over this thing. So I had to mention it. Again, I personally don't have that set. I wouldn't feel comfortable spending so much money at one time on myself, but I could definitely see if, I don't know, I had an artistic child that turned 18 or 20 or something like that, I could definitely see myself getting something like that. So I thought I would mention it, and forgive me if it's crazy. I also want to talk about brushes and paper. I think many of us might feel more comfortable spending money. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but many of us would feel more comfortable spending money on paint and then kind of think a little bit more when it comes to brushes and paper. And I can't tell you if that's like a right or wrong. I think you can find nowadays really good options for most price ranges. But that's why I think these would make such great gifts, because also a gift to me is something that, you know, you probably wouldn't buy for yourself, but then you can really spend that money and buy something beautiful for someone else. So brushes, I would definitely say a set is an easy way to go, especially if you're, you know, gifting this to someone and you yourself are not very familiar with art supplies. So sets, and I have to recommend, there are so many brands out there. I don't know them all. I don't know most of them. What I do know, I can recommend wholeheartedly, and those are the Escoda sets. There are a lot of them, and you will see that the price range is very, very big, large, steep. The more affordable sets are because they are made from synthetic hair, and then the more pricey ones are made from natural or animal hair. Personally, I think there are fantastic options for synthetic hair, and I definitely think it's an option worth exploring. Now, Escoda offer a lot of sets. They have beautiful travel sets, so if that's something that you think would be interesting to your the person you're gifting this to, check those out. I will have links to everything in the description box. I have two of their kind of signature sets is what they call. They have world-renowned watercolor artists. I think mostly it's watercolor, at least the sets that I'm interested in, because that's what this video is about, that picked their favorite brushes. And I have the let's see if I can butcher it. I have the Joseph Zbukvic set. Sorry, Joseph, if you're watching, I really apologize for butchering your name. Set number 1, which has a really great selection of round brushes from the Perla line. These are synthetic brushes that have a little bit of a snap to them. I can attest to that I've had these now for years, I think over 2 years. They have been heavily used and they held on wonderfully, so I can wholeheartedly recommend these. I think that set would be kind of a good way to go if you're buying this for someone with not a lot of art supplies, or more, let's say, kind of cheaper craft supplies, and you want to kind of take them to the next level. I think the Perla lines or the Versatile, Escoda have so many. I think those are really great choices, and that set is a really good one. The other one that I have is the number 1 set from Miss Led, which is another artist, and that set has, I'll put a photo here, has a little bit a different variety of brushes, so I think that would be fun to someone in your world that has already, you know, accumulated or gathered some brushes, but maybe give them something else to try. And of course you can check the whole range and maybe see something that grabs your eye, or look at the artists that curated these these sets. Look at their style and think maybe that would be something that works with the person you're gifting this to. Hope that makes sense. But I have tried many of the Escoda brushes, mostly the synthetic ones. I know, not personally, I know that a lot of the artists that I follow and admire use their brushes, and that to me says, you know, I'm sure they're heavily used and a lot of people recommend them, so I think that's a really, really safe choice. I want to mention that Jackson's Art Supplies ship brushes only orders free worldwide from £20, I think. So that's really something that you can take advantage of, and they have a wonderful selection. Also their own home brand, I've tried a few of their brushes, they're also good. I think sets are just an easier and prettier gift, right? Okay, the other set that I really enjoyed is the Paul Rubens one. That one is made from natural hair, and it is still, I think, a good price for what it is. I haven't used it as much as I have my Escoda brushes, so I can't tell you how durable it is, but I have used one of the brushes in this set heavily, and so far so good. It works beautifully. So it has also like this pretty case, definitely kind of gift-worthy packaging. So yeah. Moving on to paper. I think paper is really where you can gift something that maybe the person you're gifting to can appreciate, because in watercolor, if you work, especially if you work with like certain techniques, kind of heavier use, more fluid, loose style, having the right paper is crucial. But also because it's one of those things, you know, paint lasts a long time, and brushes, if you take good care of them, lasts you for years and years. But paper is one of those kind of perishable supplies that many might think twice before they kind of shell out the cash for the good stuff. And I don't want to say that's a mistake, but I think you might be disappointed with your results if you use cheap paper. So I definitely think it's worth giving it a go, you know, and then decide if it's something you want to keep spending your cash on. Now, as for the gift-worthy aspect of it, so what I think would be a pretty gift is either a block of watercolor paper or a sketchbook. And my favorite sketchbooks to kind of look at are, I really love the Khadi sketchbooks. I think they are just beautiful. They have that handmade look to them. That's just my personal preference. I think it really, you have to kind of know the person you're gifting this to know their style. If they're more, I don't know, I would say probably a more organized type of person, not so all over the place, you might check out the Stillman Birn journals, which again have that, to me, that kind of craftsmanship. They're very well made and yeah, beautiful journals, but kind of the more handmade look, I like the Khadi rough sketchbooks. As for the blocks, there are so many brands of beautiful watercolor paper. You want to get at least 140 pounds paper, 300 grams paper. That's the good stuff. And I think the most kind of attractive blocks to look at, I know this is superficial, but I think that's an important gift aspect. Just the appearance of things, what can I say? I think arches is a good choice to go. They just look beautiful. They have that, to me, that look of traditional art supplies. It kind of makes you think about the history of art supplies, and I really love that. They don't look modern, they look kind of vintage, and I really love that. Arches is like Arches, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's one of those most known brands that every, I think, watercolor artist knows and appreciates. You can choose which finish you want, hot pressed, cold pressed, rough. Hot pressed is smooth, cold pressed has a bit of texture, rough is very textured. If you're not sure, I would say go in the middle, go with cold pressed. And also I have to say that I find the Lana Aquarelle, those are French. I'm not sure where Arches is made. I find them also very attractive to look at, and I think the paper is also beautiful. Again, they've been making paper for like 400 years, so I guess they know what they're doing. These look very beautiful to me. Fabriano Artistico is another well-known brand, beautiful paper. There's so many. The Canson also have tons and tons of papers, but I would say my gut is go with Arches or the Lana ones. I think they're just beautiful to look at. And depending on your budget, you know, you can make a set, buy a watercolor set with a brush set and a paper, and you will have a very grateful person in your life. So I hope this was helpful to you. Please leave comments with more recommendations of what you think to help people watching make those decisions. I will also make a video with a few key studio equipment stuff, I think, that can really kind of take your watercolor game to the next level. Okay, I'm being a bit dramatic, but things that I feel really helped me have the conditions to work better. I just don't think they're very kind of sexy gifts, but they will definitely be appreciated if you have a watercolorist in your life. So I will do a separate video. It's not a lot of items, but I just didn't want this to be insanely long. It's already pretty long. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like this video and leave a comment. It really helps this get to new people. I really appreciate it, and you can also use my affiliate links if you wish to do so. That means I get a small commission when you purchase through those links. It doesn't cost you anything more. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!